Variable x and y are connected by the equation y equals to x minus 3 times x plus 5 cubed. Given that x increases at a rate of 0.2 units per second, find the rate of change of y when x is equal to negative 4. So this is a question related to rate. You have been given a equation. You have been given an equation relating x and y, and the question further states that the x increases at a rate, so that the change of x with respect to time, and it is given as 0.2 units per second. So is the x increasing or decreasing? If the change of x is positive,
Increasing.
would we say that the rate that x is increasing with respect to time? You need to find the rate of change of y, which is dy by dt. That is unknown to us. And we want to find when x is negative 4. So to find dy by dt, I'm going to apply the chain rule. That is going to be dy by dx times dx by dt. But what I see over here is that I do not have dy by dx expression. So that is the first thing that I'm going to find using differentiating, by differentiating y with respect to x. So coming back to the equation again, how do I plan to differentiate this? How do you plan to differentiate this? These are two different expressions being multiplied together. So would you agree that we are going to apply the product rule over here?
Yes, sir.
So u prime is going to be 1. V prime is going to be 3 times x plus 5 squared. So dy by dx is going to be equal to uv prime plus vu prime. U is x minus 3. V prime is 3 times x plus 5 the whole thing square. That's uv prime plus v is x plus 5 cube, and u prime is 1. So if I simplify this, I'm going to get 3 times x minus 3 times x plus 5 square plus x plus 5 cube. Now I don't need to further simplify this. That is because I'm only interested in finding dy by dx at a particular value, and that particular value is minus 4. So instead of wasting time on simplifying this expression, I'm going to plug in x as negative 4 in the expression, and then I'm going to evaluate the answer. So negative 4 plus 5 is 1, 1 square is 1. Negative 4 times negative 4, negative 3 is negative 7. Negative 7 times 3 is 21. Negative 21 plus 1. So that comes out to be negative 20, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm coming back to the chain rule again. I was interested in finding dy by dt. Dy by dt was equal to dy by dx times dx by dt. Dy by dx came out to be minus 20 when x is minus 4. And dx by dt is a constant value of 0.2. So when you solve this, what do you get?
Minus 4.
Minus 4 units per second. So this tells us that y is decreasing with time. So it's a function where x was increasing constantly, but y is decreasing by minus 4 units per second at x equals to negative 4. Let me know when you are done with this.
I'm done, sir.
Done, sir.
Okay. Now you may try this one. But you try for 2 to 3 minutes, and then I can help you out. A cone has a base radius r and a height of 18 centimeters. So the cone will look something like this. The, the base is circular, the radius is r, and this is the vertical height, that is 18. The radius of the base is increasing at a rate of 0.1 centimeter per second. That means that the rate of the change of the radius is equal to 0.1 centimeter per second. We need to find the rate of change of the volume. We need to find this when R is 10. So we have the formula that links volume of the cone with respect to R. So volume is given by 1 over 3 pi R square H. Just for the sake of solving, I'm going to write it like this because I'm interested in differentiating volume with respect to R. So now I'm going to differentiate this. dV over dr is going to come out as height is constant. You see, height does not change. So I'm going to treat height as a constant value. If you want, you can also plug in the value of h as 18. And then pi is a constant value. We all know that. So this is going to be 6 pi r square. That is the volume of the cone. Now, if you want to differentiate this, volume of the cone is going to be equal to the rate of the differentiation of the volume with respect to r is going to be equal to 12 pi r. Do we agree on this?
Yes, sir.
So after applying chain rule to find dv over dt, dv over dt is going to be equal to dv over dr times dr over dt. So dv over dr came out to be 12 pi r. dr over dt is given as a constant value of 0.1. We need to find dv over dt when r is 10. So I'm just going to plug in r as 10. So if the question says exact, so 10 times 0.1 is 1. So answer is going to be 12 pi centimeter cube per second. This is the exact answer. In ADMAS, mostly you are always asked to write down the exact answer. Does anyone want me to repeat this again?
No,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
it's clear.
Okay. Kashish, do you understand this or do you want me to repeat this for you?
Sorry, sir. Can you repeat?
I'm asking, do you want me to repeat the working for you or is it okay?
Just the volume part, sir.
The volume part, okay. So चलो मैं फिर से repeat कर देता हूँ. The volume formula was not given in the question. So we do expect you to know that the volume of a cone is given by 1 over 3 pi r square. If you read the question has the height of the cone as a constant value. It's a fixed height. And it says that the radius of the base is increasing at a rate of 0.1 centimeter per second. I need to find the rate of change of volume, that is dV over dt, when r is 10. So if the volume of the cone is 1 over 3 pi r square h, after plugging h as 18, the volume of the cone reduces to 6 pi r square. If I differentiate the volume of the cone with respect to r, I get 12 pi r. Applying the chain rule will give me dv over dt equals to dv over dr times dr over dt. If the rate of change of if the derivative of the volume with respect to r is 12 pi r, I'm going to multiply this by 0.1. R value is 10. So if you multiply this, you're going to get 12 pi centimeter cube per second. Fair enough?
Yes, sir, but your voice is really low.
Okay. Is it low for everyone or is it just you?
No, it's
China and
fine
Danish,
for
can
me.
you?
Fine for me.
Acha. So I will suggest Kashish, you unplug your earphones and then plug it again.
Okay, sir.
Let me know if you still are unable to hear me clearly. I'm moving on to the next question now.
I can hear you, but it's really low, and my phone has high volume.
Okay. Hmm. Actually, I can't do anything from here because I'm also working at a highest volume possible.
Okay, it's okay. It's not that bad.
Okay. This question says that water is poured into the conical container at a rate of 5 centimeter cube per second. After t seconds, the volume of the water in the container is given by 1 upon 12 pi h cube, where 8 centimeter is the height of the water in the container. Now try to visualize this application. Try to visualize what is happening. Initially the cone was empty. You are filling it with some, let's say, pipe, and the volume of the water that is being inserted in this conical container is coming at a speed of 5 centimeter cube per second. So dV over dt is 5 centimeter cube per second. Now that means that after every second, the volume is going to increase by 5 centimeter cube. So after 2 seconds, it's going to be 10 centimeter cube in the container. After 3 seconds, it's going to be 15 centimeter cube in the container. Now, obviously, it also depends on the volume capacity of the container. Okay. After t seconds, the volume of the water in the container V centimeter cube is given by V equals to 1 over 12 pi h cube. So we know this that as with respect to time, the volume inside the container is going to increase. And because of this, the height of the water in the container is also going to increase. So you are being asked to find the rate of change of h when h is 5. Rate of change of h means you need to find dh over dt. So now we are going to do the same working. Volume of the cone, volume of the water in the cone is given to you as 1 upon 12 pi h cube. If I differentiate the volume with respect to height, what am I going to get? What is going to be the
1
differentiation over
upon
here?
4 pi h square.
1 upon 4 pi h square. Okay, great. So 3 times 1 upon 12 is 4 pi h square. Question is asking me dh by dt. dh over dt is applying the chain rule will give you dh times dv times dv by dt. dh over dv. Okay, so here we have dv by dh as 4 pi h square. Would everyone agree that dh over dv is just going to be the reciprocal of this? And dv by
Sir,
dt
why,
was given in the question. Yeah,
sir, why didn't you make it 1 upon 4 pi h square in the volume? Like the
okay.
rate of the
Yes,
volume upon height
yeah, that is because
above.
if you see the question, I was asked to find dh by dt. So how do I apply chain rule? I write dh over here, dt over here, and I write the other variable over here. So by considering this chain rule, I came to know that dh over dv times dv over dt is going to give me dh over dt. Now, when I have dv by dh as 4 pi h square, then if you remember from the last class, I said that dh by dv is just the reciprocal of dv by dh. So
Yes, sir,
1
I remember
upon,
that. But I'm asking in the volume, and we were differentiating the volume, won't it be 3 upon 12 and then 1 upon 4 pi h square?
oh, yeah, that's my mistake. It's going to be 1 upon 4. You meant this, right?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you for correcting. So this is going to be 1 upon 4 pi h square, which after reciprocal is going to be 4 upon pi h square times dv by dt is 5. So the expression comes out to be 20 over pi h square. The value of h given to you at this time, you want to find the rate of change of h when h is 5, when the height is 5. So that's 20 over 25 pi, which is 4 upon 5 pi. Now you can convert this to an equivalent value. So what is 4 upon 5 pi? Or you can just leave the answer as it is as well. So 4 upon 5 pi centimeter per second. Please be careful of the units since height is a quantity that represents a length. So the units are going to be centimeter instead of centimeter square or centimeter cube. So that is dH over dt. Is the first part clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what is going to be the answer for the second part? Do I need to do entire work again for the second part?
No, we just change the value of h.
Exactly. So for the second part, I just need to change the value of h. I know dH over dt was equal to 20 upon pi h square. Now when h is 10, this is going to be 100h. So that comes out to be, I'm sorry, this is going to be 5 times 100 and 2 upon 10 pi is same as saying 1 upon 5 pi centimeter per second. Any questions, please ask.
No, sir.
No, sir.
All right. Please try this one. So I've written down the answers for your reference. Let me know when you are done. If you need any help at any stage, please let me know.
Okay.
So the question says what is being poured into the hemispherical ball at a rate of 4-5 centimeter cube per second. That means dV by dt. This is the rate of change of volume of water that is being entering. So the flow is inside. So dV over dt is 4-5 centimeter cube per second. After t seconds, the volume of the water into the bowl is given by this equation 8 pi h square minus 1 over 3 pi h cube, where h is the height. Find the rate of change of h when h is 2. So the same drill. I'm going to differentiate this first. 16 pi h minus 1 over 1/3 times 3 is 1 pi h square. Then to find dh by dt, I'm going to apply the chain rule. dh by dv times dv by dt. dh over dv is the reciprocal of dv by dh. So 1 upon 16 pi h minus pi h square times dv by dt is a constant value that is 4 pi. If now it's up to you. If you want to simplify this further, you can take pi common, and you're going to get 16h minus h square times 4 pi. Pi can be cancelled out. So 4 upon 16h minus h square. That's the expression for dh by dt. Now we were asked to find dh by dt when h is 2. So
Sir,
4 over 3.
when you wrote under the volume dv upon dh, what were we finding? Here,
Yes.
yeah.
Basically, that is the differentiation of volume with respect to height. Derivative of volume with respect to height. This
So the change
expression
in
tells us
volume, right?
it is the change in volume with respect to the change in height.
Okay.
This means change in volume with respect to the change in time. This means change in height with respect to the change in time.
Sir, what if we
So
had
for
written change in height upon with respect to change in volume there only instead of reciprocating it and later?
so you are trying to say that we calculate this first and then reciprocate it.
Yeah. So what if we had kept dh as the numerator?
So that is what we have
Direct.
to do over here. डायरेक्टली क्या मतलब कि यहाँ पे h की वैल्यू इंसर्ट करके you find the value of dv by dh और फिर रेसिप्रोकल कर दो, ये कह रही हैं आप.
No, sir. I'm just asking, what if we had directly written dh over dv? Why do we find dv over dh? Why couldn't we find dh over dv here only?
Okay, I get your question now. Now to answer this, the answer to this is that you don't have h in terms of v. I mean, h is not made the subject over here. सही है. Volume is made the subject and volume is expressed as a function of h. अगर क्वेश्चन में h एज अ फंक्शन ऑफ वॉल्यूम दिया हुआ होता तो आप इजीली dh ओवर dv फाइंड कर सकती थी, लेकिन क्योंकि क्वेश्चन में वॉल्यूम इज मेड द सब्जेक्ट एंड वॉल्यूम इज एक्सप्रेस एज अ फंक्शन ऑफ h, तो आप डिफरेंशिएट इसी तरीके से करेंगी, and then if later you want to find dh over dv, you are going to reciprocate it. Okay, does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. So 16 times 2 minus 2 square. 16 times 2 is 32 minus 4 is 28, and 4 over 28 is 1 upon 7 centimeter per second. This is the answer for the first part. To find the answer for the second part, dh by dt when h is 4, I'm just going to use the same expression and plug in 4. So 16 times 4 minus 16 is 48, and 4 over 48 is 1 upon 12. All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I move on?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let us discuss the idea of a second derivative. सेकंड डेरिवेटिव सिंपली मींस कि जो डेरिवेटिव आया है dy by dx उसको दोबारा डिफरेंशिएट कर दें. dy by dx is known as the first derivative of the function y with respect to x. Now the second derivative means that you differentiate dy by dx with respect to x again. So the notation for the second derivative is this: d squared y over dx squared. This is how you write this. You write this as d square y over dx square या फिर differentiation of dy by dx. That's another way of representing it. It's simply
differentiate this again. Okay. Now, one thing that you need to clear this out is that dy d square y over dx squared does not mean at all that you're squaring the differentiation of dy by dx. This is a common mistake seen across the students. So d square y over dx squared simply means the second derivative. It can mean this differentiation of dy by dx, but for sure it does not mean dy by dx the square. Okay, so be careful of this error. Do you guys
Sir,
get
when
it?
do we double differentiate?
Okay, when do we double differentiate? I'm gonna come to this. Okay, just hold on a second. I'm just gonna change my preference.
all right. Is the voice visible now? Is the voice audible now?
Yes.
Okay. Now the question was, when do we differentiate twice? So whenever we are asked to do so, whenever you are asked to find d square y over dx square as an expression, this is one place where you are going to go for the second derivative. For example, I have given you a function and I'm asking you to find d square y over dx square. Then you are going to find the second derivative. To find the second derivative, I have to first find dy by dx, the first derivative. So the first derivative of this expression is going to be 3x square minus 14x plus 2. And the second derivative is going to be, I'm going to differentiate this expression again. So that is going to be 6x minus 14. This is when you're going to go for second derivative. And we usually go for second derivative if we are asked to find the nature of the stationary point. I'm going to come to that in a while. Okay, so if this is a function given to you, y is equal to 3x squared minus 5 upon x, can you try to differentiate, can you try to find the second derivative of this function? You can do this
Yes.
with me. First of all, I'm going to take x to the power minus 1. What is going to be the first derivative?
6x
X.
minus 2
6x, then
plus
Plus 5x.
to the power of minus 2.
minus 2. Okay. Now, second derivative,
6 minus 10 x to the power of minus 3.
6 minus 10 x to the power minus 3, which can be written as 6 minus 10 over x cubed. That is the expression for the second derivative. Okay. Let's find the second derivative of this function. What is the first step that comes to your mind?
Product rule. Differentiation.
Product rule. Good. So dy by dx is going to be found by uv prime plus vu prime. U is x and v is x minus 4 to the power of 3. U prime is 1 and v prime is going to be 3 times x minus 4 to the power of 2. U v prime plus v u prime 3x times x minus 4 square plus x minus 4 cube. So before going for the second derivative, it's always advisable to make sure that this is a simplified expression. It's going to be easier for you to differentiate again if you simplify this first. So I can take x minus 4 square common out, and the resulting expression is going to be 3x plus x minus 4. X minus 4 square times 4x minus 4. Can I say that?
Yes.
Now, to find the second derivative, I'll have to apply the product rule again. I'm going to say x minus 4 square as my u and 4x minus 4 as v. So u prime can be 2 times x minus 4 and v prime can just be 4. Applying product rule, uv prime plus v u prime. That is the expression. If anything can be taken common out, you will. X minus 4 can be taken common out. And what else? 2 can be taken common out. You're going to be left with 2 times x minus 4 plus 4x minus 4. Is that correct? Do you understand the last step?
No.
No. Okay. What I did was, is everyone clear till this step?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So from here to here, what I just did was 6x minus 12 में से I took 6 common. So it gave me 6 times x minus 2. And I multiplied this 6 by 2 to get 12. X minus 4 as it is, x minus 2 as it is. Okay.
Yes. Sir.
All right. Do you guys need time? Do you guys need time to copy this down, or is it okay?
It's okay.
Please try this one as well.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, for example, when we take differentiation of anything, we know that that is equal to the gradient, right? So, what is
Yes.
double differentiation equal to?
Second derivative tells you about the nature of the curve. Nature of the curve का मतलब है कि nature of the stationary point बताता है कि क्या ये, like for example, was the function increasing in that region or was it decreasing? जो stationary point है आपका basically, ठीक है, क्या वो maximum point है या minimum point है? I have planned an activity over here after this, so I'm going to explain you कि उसका मतलब क्या है. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay, so in this case, our u is going to be x plus 2 and v is going to be x squared minus 1. U prime is going to be 1, v prime is going to be 2x. But now I will apply quotient rule which says vu prime minus uv prime over v square. V is x squared minus 1, u prime is 1, u is x plus 2, v prime is 2x over v square, that is x squared minus 1 the whole thing square. So x squared minus 1 minus x plus 2 times 2x over x squared minus 1 the whole thing square. If I simplify this further, let's see what do I get. X squared minus 1 minus x times 2x is minus 2x squared, minus times plus is minus 4x. So minus x squared minus 5x over x squared minus 1 the whole thing square. This is dy by dx. To find d square by over dx square, I'm going to differentiate this again.
Sir, won't it be minus 4x minus 1?
Minus 2x. Where? In the numerator?
No, the last step. So you added minus 4x and 1.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Sorry. So you're right. This is going to be x squared minus 4x minus 1 over x squared minus 1 the whole thing square. Now, to find the second derivative, u is going to be minus x squared minus 4x minus 1. V is going to be x squared minus 1. Achha, is there a way to simplify x squared minus 4x minus 1 further? Let me see. Minus 1x squared minus 1. No. Yeah, let it be. Then u prime is going to be minus 2x minus 4. V prime is going to be 2x. D squared by over dx square is vu prime minus uv prime over v square. V is x squared minus 1. U prime is nothing but minus 2x minus 4 minus u, which is minus x squared minus 4x minus 1. V prime is going to be 2x over v square. X squared, x, it should have been. I made a slight error over here again. Just a second. The question was v was x squared minus 1 square. So when you differentiate this, you are going to get 2 times x squared minus 1 to the power of 1 times 2x, resulting in 4x times x squared minus 1. So vu prime minus uv prime over v square. X square minus 1 square, the whole thing squared further. Okay, so you can see how complex things are getting. But the question will give you a simplified expression or a hint to solve it or simplify it further. I can check if this can be further simplified or not. So to solve this further, x square minus 1, if I take x square minus 1 common out, I'm going to be left with x square minus 1 times minus 2x minus 4 minus, I can multiply this 4x with all the terms. So this is going to give me minus 4x squared minus 16x minus 4x minus 4x cube, sorry, minus 4x cube minus 16x square and minus 4x. I have taken x square minus 1 as a factor common out. The denominator is going to be x square minus 1 to the power of 4. Now I can eliminate this with one of the power, okay? And I can see how it can be further simplified as well. But you get the idea, right? आगे सॉल्व मतलब
Yeah,
पता है ना कि मल्टीप्लाई करके सिंपलीफाई करके कर लेंगे, सही है? So I'm not utilizing more time on this. Can I move on now?
Yes.
yeah, sure.
All right. So before starting this question, someone asked me what is the significance of second derivative. Okay. So I want you to try this out with me. This is the function. This is a cubic function. And the question says copy and complete the table to show whether dy by dx and d square y over dx square are positive, negative, or zero for the given value of x. So I want you to take out your calculators and just follow these steps to find whether the dy by dx expression is going to be positive or negative. So first of all, I have to differentiate this function. If I differentiate dy by dx for this, that comes out to be 6x square minus 30x plus 24. And the second derivative comes out to be 12x minus 30. Are you guys following with me over here?
Yeah.
Any questions till here?
Sure.
So now what you are going to do is you are going to plug in x as 0 in dy by dx expression. And you're in this table, you are going to note it down whether dy by dx ka answer is positive, negative, or 0. So if I plug x as 0, I'm getting 24. So it's a positive value. Then I'm going to plug in 1. So when you plug in 1, what do you get? Check karo, are you getting 0
Yes, 0.
at x equals to 1? Okay. Now when I plug in 2, so 2 square is 4, 6 times 4 is 24, 24 plus 20, this is going to give you 24, 24, 48, 48 minus 30 times 2, it's going to give you a negative value. Okay. When you plug in 3, you're still going to get a negative value. When you plug in 4, you're going to get a 0 value. When you plug in 5, you're going to get a positive value. Okay. So we have a positive value when we take x as 5. So this is the result of dy by dx. Now let's plug in 0 in the second derivative. When you are going to plug in 0 in the second derivative, you are going to get minus 30, so the answer is negative. When you are going to plug in 1, you're going to get a negative value still. 12 minus 30 is a negative value. Then 12 times 2 is 24, 24 minus 30 is a negative value. 3 times 12 is 36, 36 minus 30 is a positive value. Now when you keep on increasing the value of x, you are going to get a positive value. When I draw this function on the Desmos graphing app, this is the function which I got. The red line shows the cubic function. If I go back to the table, I was getting 0, the value of dy by dx is 0 when x was 1 and when x was 4. So if you remember, dy by dx is the gradient function. And when the value of dy by dx came out to be 0, that means that there is a stationary value occurring at x equals to 1, we have a stationary point. At x equals to 4, we have a stationary point. Now, you can refer to the graph to verify this. In the graph, can you confirm? Just a second. This screen is behind. Okay. in the graph, can we confirm that we are getting a stationary point at x equals to 1 and x equals to 4? By stationary point, I mean where the graph is going to take a curve, it's a turning point. The stationary points are the turning points. And these are the points where the gradient or dy by dx key value comes out to be 0, which means that if I draw a tangent on over here, the tangent is going to be a horizontal line. So the gradient comes out to be 0 at point x equals to 1 and x equals to 4. So these two are the stationary points. But if I was just given this table, how would I know whether this point is minimum point or this point is maximum point or what? I need to identify now the nature of the stationary point. Nature of stationary point. Now, there are two, in our syllabus, we are going to study two types of stationary points. One is the maximum point and the other is the minimum point. Okay. So coming back to the graph again, this is a point where dy by dx value was 0, right?
Yes.
Can you confirm what was the value of the second derivative over here? Was it a positive value or a negative value?
Negative.
Negative value. Okay. So I'm getting one stationary point where the second derivative has a negative value. So at x equals to 1, we have a negative second derivative. Then what happens at x equals to 4?
Positive
dy by
derivative.
dx is 0, but we have a positive second derivative. So the concept is that if you have a second derivative का answer negative, then it actually refers to the maximum point. If you have the second derivative का answer to be positive, it refers to the minimum point. And we can see this from the graph that at x equals to 1, we are getting a maximum point. And when x is 4, we are getting a minimum point. So the maximum point was occurring over here, and at this point, the second derivative came out to be a negative value. If the second derivative came out to be a positive value for this stationary value, then we are going to say that this point is a minimum value. Are we now clear how to distinguish between the maximum point and the minimum point?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, so the double differentiation only gives us the nature of the stationary points, right? Just the
Yes,
nature.
it just tells us about the nature of the stationary point. Is the point minimum or is the point maximum? If the second derivative is negative, then it's a maximum point. If the second derivative is positive, then it's a minimum point. Now we are talking about stationary points, and for stationary points, we must have the first derivative 0. You can check over here that the first derivative for the stationary point will always be 0. And now, so when you are asked to find, let's see a question on this. This is a question. I have worked out the solution. I just want you to first understand what's happening, and then you can take a screenshot and later on copy the answer. You were given, you need to find the coordinates of the stationary point on the curve. The curve equation is given to you, and then we need to determine the nature of these points. What do you understand by the term these points? Which points are they referring to?
The stationary points.
These stationary points, right? And then we are going to sketch the graph. Okay, so the first thing first, if I have the function y, that is 2x cubed minus 15x squared plus 24x plus 6, if you find the first derivative dy by dx, you are going to get 6x squared minus 30x plus 24. To find the stationary point, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to equate it to 0. You're going to equate the first derivative to 0. So when you equate the expression 6x squared minus 30x plus 24 to 0 and try to solve this quadratic equation, the two values of x that you are going to get are 1 and 4. So x is 1 and x is 4. Are we clear till here?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, we were asked stationary point the x value. So in order to find the y value, you can just use the equation again. When x is 1, what is going to be y? And when x is 4, what is going to be y? So we can find that when x is 1, y came out to be 17. When x is 4, y came out to be negative 10. So these are the two stationary points. Now I know that these are the stationary points, which means I know that dy by dx at these points was 0. But I do not know the nature of these points yet. So to find the nature of these points, I'm going to differentiate the function again. I'm going to differentiate 6x squared minus 30x plus 24 now. So the second derivative, d squared y over dx squared, is going to come out as 12x minus 30. Now, when you have the second derivative, then what you are going to do is you are going to take x as 1 and plug it over here. You're going to find the second derivative at x equals to 1. So when I'm going to insert 1, I'm going to get 12 minus 30, which is a negative value. And when I insert 4, 4 times 12 is 48, 48 minus 30 is plus 18, which is a positive value. So this, when x is 1, the second derivative comes out to be negative, which is less than 0. And when x is 4, the second derivative comes out to be positive, which is greater than 0. Now this indicates that 1 comma 17 is a maximum point and 4 comma minus 10 is a minimum point. Do you agree with this?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the question says we need to sketch the function. Okay. To sketch the function, what you are going to do is, the equation is 2x cubed minus 15x squared plus 24x plus 6. This is what you need to plot. First of all, you are going to see the value of x. If x cubed, if the value of x cubed is positive, then please remember then you are going to get this shape curve. If coefficient of x cubed, let me call this k, and if k is a positive value, the shape of the curve is going to be like this. If k was less than 0, then the shape of the curve is going to be like this. So once we have identified the shape, we know that this function will be something like this. Okay. Now, and we know the two stationary points as well. The two stationary points are -1 comma 70. What was the stationary point? 1 comma 17. So 1 comma 17 somewhere over here. And the next point was
4 minus 10.
4 minus 10. 4 minus 10 somewhere over here. We know that this point was a maximum point and this point was a minimum point. So it needs to be a cubic curve. Acha. Just a second. So before this, if this is the maximum point, this means that before this point the curve should go down. If this is a minimum point, this means that after this point the curve should go up. And between the maximum and minimum point, the curve should fall down to the minimum point, right?
Yes.
something like this, right? That is going to be the sketch. Are we clear till here?
Yes.
You can then just mark the maximum and the minimum point on the diagram. So I'll stop today's class till here, and we are going to continue from here in the next class. If possible,
Sir.
please try this question. You can just take a screenshot and just try this question for the practice.
Okay.
Sir.
Allah Hafiz, sir. Thank you.
Allah Hafiz. You're welcome.
Sir had something to ask.
Sorry.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, sir, when sketching it, do we have to find the intercepts or do we just draw it with the turning points?
Yes, you are right. We sometimes need to find the intercept, but for this question, my focus wasn't on finding the x-intercepts.
Okay.
Okay. For the x-intercepts, if you remember, when we solve uh, cubic equation, the way we are solving cubic
Yeah.
equation, we do go for trial and error method to find the first factor, and then we find the resulting quadratic factor using the long division method. So that is how you can find these roots as well. But since that the part of my uh, wasn't the part of my lecture today, otherwise this question would have been dragged on. So right now I'm just focusing on maximum and minimum and the nature of the point. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Any other question?
No, sir.